Raise your hand if you are the kind of person who will stop and pick up a penny. A penny when if you see it on the ground. Okay, not everybody, so maybe we have to up it a little bit. Maybe if it were a quarter or a dollar bill, then would you stop and pick it up? What if you saw a $1 million bill on the ground? Would you stop and pick it up? Okay, at this point now, nobody will pick it up because they know there's no such thing as a $1 million bill. And so you think I'm a crook and a fraud at this point. But what happens in business often is when we think about making more money in our business, we actually step over the $1 million bill that's sitting there on the ground in order to pick up the pennies. Let me explain. So in business, when we think about making more money, usually we're talking about let's get more leads and make more sales. And that will make more money in your business. But that's the pennies. The big money is to be made through client retention. You make way more money in your business if you keep the people that you already have. And so today I'm going to share some ideas about that. I'd like to start with a story. This is about my client, Rebecca, and some of you might even know her. She's a local Twin Cities web designer. And Rebecca loves her clients. She adores them. She raves about them. But a few years ago, she came to me and she was feeling a little guilty because she found that at the end of a client project, she didn't have a formal way to say thank you to her clients. And she realized that over time, she was losing touch with these former clients because she focused so hard on them when she was working with them, and when she was done, she had to move on to the next client. So we came up with a plan for Rebecca to send out a low-cost, high-impact gift at the end of every project that would really touch her clients' hearts. She loved the idea so much, she wanted to do it not only going forward with her clients, but also she wanted to do it to all those past clients that she had been neglecting. The problem with past clients, they don't pay you anymore. And she is a solo entrepreneur. She doesn't have a big budget to draw from. So we decided, let's do a little each month to get her caught up. Well, a few months in, I talked to Rebecca, and the results had blown her away. She said, the first month after I sent out the gifts, someone called me, and they said, thank you so much for the gift, and I have another project I'd like to hire you for. Same thing happened the next month, and the month after that. Over and over again, she was making more in new business than what she had invested to send out gifts to her former clients. It really, really works. The moral of the story that Rebecca teaches us, if you don't remember them, they won't remember you. It was just by the simple act of her remembering them that caused them to remember her and think of the work that they could hire her for. So early in my business career, I came across this statistic. 68% of clients who leave a business do it because they believe the business doesn't care about them. At first, I was relieved because guess what? I care about my clients. So clearly, that statistic does not apply to me, and I was off the hook. But then I thought about my clients, people like Rebecca, and they really cared about their clients. And I thought about people I meet when I'm out networking, situations like this. Doesn't seem like a bunch of greedy capitalists. It seems like you all care about your clients too. So I wondered, how can this statistic even exist? And then I looked at it closer. It says 68% of clients who leave a business do it because they believe the business doesn't care about them. It's not that the business doesn't care, it's that that's what the client believes. And then I understood. Because small business owners are busy. You're trying to keep all the balls in the air, you're wearing all the hats in the business, and you create systems, plans, and checklists for things like marketing, sales, operations, accounting, billing, receiving, all the things that you have to do in your business, except for one. Frequently, small business owners forget to create a relationship marketing plan to take care of the people in their business. And just like anything else, if you leave it to chance, it might not happen. That is my mission today, to wipe out this statistic one business at a time, because it's changeable. It doesn't have to be that way. And so that's why I wrote the book, Lifelong Loyal Clients, and that's what I help my clients do, is create relationship marketing plans that are repeatable so that you can do it over and over again, build relationships in business. So from Rebecca, we learned, if you don't remember them, they won't remember you. But memory is a tricky thing. There are moments in our lives that we know we're never going to forget, yet we can't find our car keys when it's time to go, right? So I want to share with you a memory of mine that I know I will never forget. For me, it goes all the way back to the 1980s, to my first high school formal dance. Let me tell you what I remember about that day. So this homecoming dance was held in our high school gymnasium. And the walls had crepe paper on them to make it look like seaweed because it was an under the sea theme. There were cutouts of starfish and jellyfish and every kind of fish all over the place. The lights were low, the music was loud. Maybe you attended a dance quite like that at your high school. Well, for the girl, of course, it's all about the dress. So let me tell you about my dress. It was the 80s. Warning. And it was a fuchsia-colored chiffon dress. It had some wavy sleeves. It had a little overlay that kind of went back and forth. It was belted at the waist. Well, would you like to just see it, maybe? Yeah. All right, yeah, let's see it. That is me in that beautiful fuchsia dress. And of course, it was the 80s. You'll notice my big permed hair and feathered back, absolutely. And there's my date in his navy blue blazer and his gray slacks. We looked good. Sharp, yes. There's one problem. There is one important detail that I have forgotten about that night. You got it. His name. His name. I don't remember my date's name. Let me tell you why. So the couple you see next to us, those are my good friends, Scott and Alicia. I went to church with them, and this gentleman that took me to the homecoming went to high school with them. So we didn't go to the same high school. They set us up. It was our one and only date. And we had a lovely time. I have no complaints. He was a perfect gentleman. But I didn't call him afterwards, and he didn't call me. And it was before the days of having a cell phone, so we didn't text each other, Snapchat, Instagram, tweet, none of that. And so we just lost touch. The reason I share that story is because it's the same thing with your business contacts. You might have met someone great here tonight. You might be walking away with a handful of business cards. But if you don't remember them, guess what? They won't remember you. I want to end with one story. Raise your hand if you know who the Cake Boss is. Has anybody heard of him? So otherwise known as Buddy Valastro, he is the star of a reality TV show called Cake Boss. where he and his big Italian family create these outrageous cakes out of their bakery in Hoboken, New Jersey. So in our family, we've watched the show, love the show, enjoy their crazy Italian family, their amazing cakes. And one of my kids heard that they were going to be opening a Carlos bakery at the Mall of America here in Minnesota. We said, we don't have to go to Hoboken to taste his delicious treats. This is going to be great. Well, then one of them heard that not only was it opening, but there was going to be a grand opening ribbon cutting where none other than Buddy Valastro himself was going to be there. And we thought, well, that would be kind of cool. We should go. And so it was on a Saturday morning, and it was kind of early. I like to sleep in on Saturday. The ribbon cutting was going to be at 7 a.m., but I thought, we'll get up, we'll go 7 a.m. ribbon cutting, buy some pastries, get our picture taken. We're home by 9. I can take a nap if I need to. I mean, how many people could show up to something like this? So that's exactly what we did. 2 of my kids came with me, and we picked up an adult friend on the way, and we headed over there, and we got to the Mall of America at 6:30 in the morning, and this was the scene. And it was still a little dark outside, and as you can see, we were lined up outside the Mall of America. I am not worried about this because the mall is not open yet. So once we get in, it's going to move along. We're going to get, we'll see them, no problem, home by 9. Well, as the morning progressed and the sun started to come up, we realized we weren't going to be in there for the ribbon cutting at 7 a.m. But no worries, because I knew that once they cut the ribbon and actually opened the store, then the line was really going to move fast, and we would get in and get out, maybe 10 or 11. So we waited in line. Well, we got into the Mall of America, and they took us around and up the stairs and up to the 3rd floor, and then there, we could see it. It was right there, Carlos Bakery. And so we were so excited. Well, we continued to wait in line, and sometimes we would stand, and sometimes we would lean on the railing. Sometimes we would sit down for a little while, and gradually we moved forward in line. Eventually, we were taking breaks to get snacks and to go to the restroom. And then we were taking a lunch break. And what we hadn't realized was that even though we started out right there in front of Carlos Bakery, that line went way down before it turned and came back. And so we continued waiting, and at some point we kind of realized, we've been here so long that if we quit now, we've just wasted a whole lot of time. So we persevered. We soldiered on, and in the end, yes, we got there. Delicious pastries. We bought like crazy, and we got to meet some famous people. This is a picture of Grace, one of his sisters who works at the bakery. If you'd seen the show, you've seen him, and at that point, she was on the phone with the sister Mary. Everybody knows Mary, and oh my gosh, it was like so cool, and in the end, sure enough, there he is, Buddy Valastro. We got our picture taken with him. He was such a nice guy and so great to be around, happy to greet us. We got his autograph, was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know how long we waited in line? Were you wondering that? Well, I'm a little embarrassed to say, because if I had known this the night before, I would have said, kids, forget it, we'll go on Monday and buy the pastries. But in the end, we waited in line for 10 hours. And at 4:30 that afternoon, we headed home in our car. The reason I tell this story is because there is a great reward at the end of the line. For us with Buddy, it was getting to meet him and getting his delicious pastries. But in business, your reward is money. It is client retention, it is referrals, it is more sales conversions, but it happens in building relationships, and building relationships takes time. It's not a one-time event, because if you don't remember them, thank you.